You must be thinking about making a move to Kansas City. Well, you've come to the right place because today I've put together a map video where I'm going to take you around one of Kansas City's hippest neighborhoods called the Crossroads. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the Crossroads and how it relates to Kansas City, and we're going to start doing that right now. Hi, I'm Max Jones. I'm with the Mojo Real Estate Team, and my partner Zach Morton and I have been in business for over 20 years, helping people just like you make their move to Kansas City or move within Kansas City to places like the Crossroads, and we absolutely love it. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can hop on Google and you can do a quick search, and you can see that we have over 640 reviews, 5-star reviews from people, and you can see what they have to say in their own words. So with that being said, we're going to start the video, but before we do, I want you to stick around to the end, because at the end, I'm going to reveal the best restaurant in Kansas City, according to me, who, you know, I do consider myself an expert on Kansas City restaurants. I'm going to reveal the best restaurant in Kansas City, so you're not going to want to miss that. It's in the Crossroads, and so stick around to the end for that. So with that being said, I've got the map pulled up here. And you can see in this red outline here, this is the technical area for the Crossroads. I like to think of the Crossroads really as being from clear over to 71 and being all the way down to this rail line that is for the Union Station. So really this area right in here is what I think of as the Crossroads, but technically if you search it up on Google, you're going to get this red line which ends right at Oak Street. Before we dig into the details of zoom in on the Crossroads, what I'd like to do is zoom out just a hair, and I got to click off my drawing tool there. I want to zoom out just a hair and show you where the Crossroads is in relation to the Kansas City Metro. So as we zoom out, you can see that that little red dot is right in the center of the Kansas City area. So right down here, just on the south side of downtown in the financial district, is the Crossroads. And I believe they call it that because that's where all the roads start to cross, all of the major highways in Kansas City. But the surrounding metro area you can see here is all of this tan area. And you know, if you've watched a lot of our videos, you'll know that this up here is called the Northland. We've got this blue dot because that's where I'm located. I'm right up here in Liberty. That's where my house is. I'm at my house today shooting this video. But the airport is up here right by this where it says Farrell View. You take I-29 north and there's the airport. So really from the Crossroads, the airport's probably a 20-minute drive. You just hop on, you can go over 169 highway and to the I-29 and take it to the airport. If you're down in the Crossroads and you want to go to a Royals game or Chiefs game, you can head out I-70, and the Royals and Chiefs stadiums are out here just before you get to Blue Springs. I think just after 435, right in this area. If you want to go to the racetracks or a Sporting Kansas City game, you can head out here. And 435 and I-70 is where the big Kansas City Speedway is, and the Sporting Kansas City area is there. If you want to go to Overland Park, which is one of Kansas City's biggest suburbs, then you're not too far. You can cruise down I-35 and hit up Overland Park. Really, in the Crossroads, you're right in the center of all the action, and it's right in the, they call it the Arts District of Kansas City. So I'm going to zoom back in, and we're going to go in, and I'm going to show you why it's one of the best, one of the hippest, coolest areas in Kansas City. And while you might not want to actually live in the Crossroads, you definitely will want to know about it because you'll live nearby. You might want to live in the Crossroads, but it's a place that you're going to frequent for sure. So now that I've shown you where it is in relation to Kansas City, what I'd like to do is show you the major roads. So really you've got the major highways. You've got 71 highway, which will take you north and south on kind of the east side of town. And then you've got this is 670, but this is really I-70, which will go clear from Denver, all the, St. Louis, basically runs all the way across the country and runs right through the heart of Kansas City. So this 670 highway here is just to the north, and then I-35 kind of cuts across Kansas City and goes up to Des Moines, actually goes all the way to Canada, and goes all the way, I think, down into Texas, but it cuts diagonally across the Kansas City metro and is right here. And then the southern border of the Crossroads is really this rail line that comes through here. You can kind of see where my cursor is, and it is just north of it's the Amtrak rail, just north of Union Station. So there's a big train station right here, and that's kind of the southern border of this Crossroads district, this arts district. And as far as the main roads, really you have Broadway. So technically the Crossroads ends at Broadway, and really there's not a lot on the other side of Broadway. Broadway's a main road that will run all the way north and south through downtown, and that is the western border of the Crossroads. And then Oak Street is another main street that, there's actually Main Street, which is just over here west of Oak Street. But Oak Street represents the eastern border. Technically, again, I think of the Crossroads being this area too. You've got a couple arts places and music venues that stretch out beyond Oak Street. But as you come up Grand, if you go up Grand, that's another main road. And the bigger roads, Oak, Grand, and Main, and Wyandotte, they cross 670 here, and they go up into the Power and Light district, which is just north of the Crossroads. And Power and Light has the T-Mobile Center, where there's lots of games and I think basketball. The NCAA tournament is there typically, and so you'll see a lot of big time music and sporting events will be held at this T-Mobile Center. And then all around that is the Power and Light district. So you've got tons of bars and restaurants and hotels and apartment buildings, and it is just kind of one of the most happening areas in Kansas City. That there's been a lot of revitalization down there. You've got the Crown Center Plaza, and you've got Bartle Hall and Municipal Auditorium, and just tons of stuff right in this area. In fact, this Bartle Hall and Convention Center actually goes over the highway. So the highway goes under this giant building, and it's a huge convention center where they'll have auto shows in the wintertime. They'll come and they'll be driving cars in these buildings. It's so huge. So it's one of the main attraction centers of the whole city, and it is just right north of this Crossroads area that we're going to be talking about today. So those are the main roads there, and generally in these map videos, I like to point out after the main roads where all of the parks are. So in the Crossroads, you're not going to really see a whole lot of parks because it's really dense industrial and commercial buildings. So you're more likely to find a parking lot than a park. But there are a couple of things worth pointing out, and I'll switch to the satellite view so you can see that in this Crossroads area, you can see with the satellite view how dense it is with the buildings. But right here, they do have an urban garden that's pretty cool. On 18th and Broadway, there's this urban garden, and you can see that from this view that it's pretty full. It's got quite a few gardens in here. So a little urban garden there. And then a couple more parks. If you go south of the Crossroads, at that area I mentioned, the Union Station, you can see right here, here's that big Union Station building. And then you've got the IRS, which has got the biggest building of all, of course, because Uncle Sam, you know where he gets his money to build his buildings. But just south of, don't get me started on taxes, just south of the Union Station area is the Liberty Memorial, the Grand Mall for the Liberty Memorial, and there's a huge World War I museum here. And the Liberty Memorial is a giant tower that you can go up into. You can see it up on the hill, and there's a giant park up here with baseball fields, and I believe there's a skate park. There's tennis courts. Yeah, here's the skate park. There's an off-leash dog park area. Just a really awesome park, you know, similar to maybe a Central Park would be in New York, where it's right downtown and just has tons of area for picnics and, you know, sports and kickball and different activities. So if you're looking for a park, you won't find it in the Crossroads, but just adjacent to south of the Crossroads. There's also, let's see, there is a couple other parks that are worth mentioning. Let me zoom out here. You've got well, this is a cemetery, but you've got the Hospital Hill Park. I believe it's right next to, oh, here it is. It's right next to UMKC. It's in here. And then there's also Penn Valley Park. Oh yeah, Penn Valley Park. It's kind of part of the Liberty Memorial area, but it's in here. That's where you have the off-leash dog park. So you've got this main road, Broadway, will run through here, and it kind of divides the Liberty Memorial area. But not much for parks, not much for golf courses. If you know, nearby, if you go out into the burbs, you've got all the golf courses you could ever want. But right in the Crossroads, you can see it's just a tiny little area, not many square miles, and it's really densely built out with condominiums and apartments. So you're not going to find single-family homes with you know, your yard and for the dog and all that kind of thing. It's you're going to find condos and apartments. Really primarily apartments, but there are a few condominium buildings where you can actually purchase a property, and I'll be pointing those out here in a minute. If you want a single family home and want to be in this area, a lot of people will go to Hospital Hill. So they call it that because you have the UMKC and UMKC school, and the School of Medicine, and Children's Mercy Hospital is right here. And then up on this hill, you have some single family homes up in here. In this Beacon Hill area and Hospital Hill up here. So there, you can find them nearby, but just not actually right in the Crossroads area. And you can find some a little across I-35. There's a little pocket over here too, just south of the West Bottoms. So, as far as the Crossroads go, we've pointed out the parks, and typically I'll go and tell you about the major attractions next. So tons of major attractions in the Crossroads. Really, that's what it's all about, are the major attractions. So a couple of, I can't point them all out because we'd be here all day, but I will point out the major ones. So you've got the Kaufman Center for Performing Arts right here. It's really the anchor for the area. Just a beautiful building. Reminds you of the Performing Arts Center in Australia. You know, the iconic one that you see. It's very similar to that. It is just a beautiful building where you can go in and watch you know, your plays and your theaters and that sort of thing. Your musicals. Beautiful building. That's not really my cup of tea necessarily. I've been a few times and I admire the architecture more than the performance typically, but a lot of people are really into that, and that's where That's where the place to be is, right there. Another thing I'll point out here is Lowe's Hotel. It's a brand new, just amazing hotel right here on the north side of the Crossroads. I've stayed a couple times there, and it is a beautiful hotel to go. When the Chiefs have their parade, their Super Bowl parades, we've had a couple of those in the past few years. You can stay at the Lowe's Hotel, and I believe the parade route comes right down Grand, and which I think is this street right here. So you can stay at the Lowe's and pop over. But there's lots of hotels down in the area. It doesn't have to be this one, but this is probably the fanciest hotel. So if you're looking for someplace really fancy to stay for you and your family or the lady, then the Lowe's is a great one. The Sprint Center is technically not in the Crossroads, but just right across the street. It used to be called the Sprint Center, I think, and now it's the T-Mobile Center. So, just depending on what cell phone carrier wants to sponsor put their sign on the outside of the building, they're willing to change the name. But yeah, the T-Mobile Center is right there. What else do we have? The KC Convention Center, I already pointed that out here. That's not in the Crossroads, but right next to it. I already pointed out the Union Station over here by the IRS. You got Science City, which is a really cool place for the kids to spend the day. And you've also got Legoland. It's down here, just adjacent to the Crossroads. Crown Center. I think it's down here, like where you can go ice skating in the winter time. Down here by Legoland, you can go ice skating. Just a beautiful little area. Crown Center is worth looking into. So, actually, within the Crossroads, it's more of your bars, nightlife, arts galleries, and that sort of thing. So. I'm going to go over that here in a second, but before I do, I'm going to talk about shopping and schools, because typically if you're moving to an area, that's what you really care about is, hey Max, where am I going to get my food? Where am I going to send my kids to school? And I will tell you that this Crossroads area isn't good for either of those. You're not going to find a Hy-Vee, a Price Chopper, a Costco, a Sam's Club, or any of that kind of stuff in the Crossroads. You can find it outside of the Crossroads, but you can find, for groceries, you're gonna find a bodega, you're gonna find, like a little gas station that doesn't have gas type of place. I've lived in Brooklyn for a few years, and bodegas are in every street corner, but not everybody knows what a bodega is. So that's what it is, a gas station without the gas. Dollar General, you'll find, I think there's a Dollar General in here. There is an organic grocery. Actually, they do a play on words. They call it a grocery shop because it's organically grown groceries. So a little place to pick up some produce, and mostly liquor stores, wine stores, that sort of thing. So you're not going to find a lot of grocery options. And then schools are also not, they're pretty sparse in this area. So most people aren't moving to the Crossroads that have kids and have schools as their highest priority. There are some charter schools in the area, and it is Kansas City, Missouri School District. So Kansas City, Missouri School District, it'll come up on the Missouri side. There's a whole band of the Kansas City School District where, whether it's Waldo or Westport or Brookside, as you go from kind of downtown south, you've got the Kansas City School District, and it is not the best schools. If school's your priority, usually you're on the outskirts of town in the suburbs, Liberty, Park Hill, Blue Valley, Lee Summit, that sort of thing, Olathe. Once you get in the center of town, on the Missouri side, the Kansas City School District actually lost their accreditation for about 10 years. They've since regained it, which we mentioned in several of our videos. So what happened as a result is tons of charter schools popped up. So they're also publicly funded schools, but it gives you some optionality around where you're going to send your kid and based on your priorities, what kind of education you want them to get. So there are some charter schools in the area. I believe some of them are up here more in the financial district and just north of this Power and Light area rather than actually in the Crossroads. So I'm not going to go into depth on schools. If you're looking into the Crossroads to live there, you know, you're probably have different priorities as far as, you know, maybe you're a musician or maybe you are an artist or something like that. You want to be right in the hip happening area. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the schools for the purpose of this video. But I will tell you about restaurants and nightlife. We're going to go into the nightlife first, then we're going to talk about restaurants, and I'm going to reveal my #1 restaurant, the best restaurant in Kansas City, at the end. So stick around. But in this area, you've got, I'm not going to point them all out on the map because there's just a ton of them, but you've got, for nightlife, you've got the Record Bar, it's got live music. You've got the Belfry, the Brick. It's kind of a gritty little bar with live music. You've got Taps on Main. They've got tons of beers. Oak and Steel Beer Hall. You got the Green Lady Lounge, which is like a kind of a jazz bar kind of type of place. There's a couple jazz bars right there by the Green Lady Lounge. Swordfish Tom's is another bar. And then one I will point out is pretty cool. It's called Grinders Pizza. And you know, it's named like a pizza joint, and they do sell pizza there. But this whole area right here is this is where the band plays, and this whole area is where you watch the show. So you can grab a pizza here, and then, you know, there's bars all lined along this back side, and you can. There's tables up here and not much seating, but standing room only. So you can watch some pretty big bands have played at Grinders. So really, really awesome music venue right there. And lots of bars, lots of places. There's the Green Lady Lounge there. This is just stacked full of bars and nightlife. So too many to name them all for sure, but another thing about this area is it's known for art galleries. So it is actually known as the Art District, and I'll just pull up a picture of the website here real quick. The Crossroads Art District, if you go to crossroads.org, you can see that there are just hundreds of galleries. I'll point out a couple of them. You've got the Lady Volkus Art Center. Peter Volkus is a really famous sculptor that I really like his style. So sculptor / pottery type artist. But you've got the Blue Gallery. You've got Cerbera, I think it's called. It's a contemporary. There's the Sherry Leedy Contemporary Art Gallery. Just tons of art galleries. And there's this thing called the First Fridays. So the first Friday of every month, all these art galleries will just open to the public, and they'll have artists out on the street, and they'll have booths lined up, and all the art galleries and art studios, because a lot of these buildings down here have artists that have their studios located in that area. So they will, they'll open to the public and let people come in and kind of have an open house on the first Friday of every month. So especially during the summer months when it's nice and warm and you go out and have a couple cocktails and then walk out and check all the art, it's just a great experience. So something I definitely recommend you check out, whether you're living in the Crossroads or not. Then you definitely want to check out First Fridays, and you can hop on that crossroads.org to check out everything. We'll put a link to that in the description of the video. Before I talk about the restaurants, I do want to just point out, I've got the MLS pulled up here, and this will show you everything that's sold in the last 1,000 days. There's actually currently only one condo for sale on the market right now. There's a couple that are pending, and then there are, I think there's 73 units that have sold in the past 3 years. So there's not a ton of opportunities to buy in this area. Only a few condo buildings, and I will name a few of them. Let me see, I've got them written down here. The kind of starting at the north, you've got the Campbell Lofts. I've sold a unit in there before, really nice little building up here, just south of the Power and Light District on Walnut. Then you've got the W Lofts on Wyandotte. I believe that's right down here. Then you've got the 1819 Lofts. The Western Auto Lofts on Grand right here. You need to be careful about the Western Auto Lofts. They had a lawsuit. I believe all of the balconies, there was a problem with all of the balconies, and they all have to be redone. So that is something to really pay attention to anytime you're thinking about buying a condo. And we go into this on our pros and cons, but anytime you're talking about buying a condo, you want to make sure that the Homes Association reserves are well managed, because you're essentially in a cooperative with everybody that lives in that building. You actually own the studs and then you own a share of the entire building, and with that comes, you get a lot of amenities typically. Sometimes you'll get a pool, you'll get the elevators and all the stuff that comes along with that, but you have to keep that stuff maintained, and a lot of condominiums aren't managed that well. So they have all of their dues that you pay every year, and if they don't save their money and plan ahead for roofs and air conditioners and furnaces and boilers and all of the things that could go, especially if something goes wrong with the exterior, then there could be huge expenses. And what they do is, if they haven't budgeted correctly, they'll hit everybody in the entire building with a special assessment, and everybody just gets, a lot of times they'll do financing, so you can pay them monthly rather than one big chunk, but it's not unheard of to get hit with a $20,000 special assessment where everybody in the building has to pay for a maintenance repair that wasn't budgeted for. So that's something that we can help you look at if you're looking at buying a condo in the Crossroads or anywhere downtown. If a condo is your thing, then we can help you navigate those waters and make sure that you do your due diligence, not only on the unit you're buying, but the building that you're buying into. We can help you with that. But so watch out for the Western Auto Lofts. And then there's a couple others here. There's Fleming Place, which is across the street from Western Auto. And then there's Freight House Lofts and Freight House Flats. And yeah, I mean, there's really not a ton. There's really more apartments and rentals than there are condos to purchase. So if you want to live in the Crossroads, what we may have to do, and we do this from time to time if somebody's very specific about what they're looking for, rather than just saying, well, there's one house on the market and we'll wait until something pops on. What we can do is proactively call everybody in that building, or send a letter to everybody that lives in that area and see if they are thinking about making a move. Sometimes we can find hidden inventory for you. So, if this is something you're thinking about, whether it's the Crossroads or really anywhere specific in Kansas City, we can be proactive about helping you find what you're looking for. But let's click back on the Google map, and I will show you, let me zoom out, and I will show you all of the restaurants. I probably won't point them all out because there's just a ton. Here, let me put in the map search restaurants. That'll make them pop up. So you can just see all of these red dots are restaurants, and in my opinion, the Crossroads is one of the best places in town to go and to go out to eat. I mean, they have some of the best restaurants in town. A couple that I will point out is Anton's is a really great place to grab a steak. They actually have a butcher in the restaurant, or just right next door in the restaurant. They have a butcher shop, and then they also have a restaurant where you can get just probably the best steaks in town. You've got Town Topic down here, which is like an old 50s style diner that is just a classic place to go in and grab a cheeseburger and milkshake. Novel is over here. It's like a really upscale American restaurant, kind of a bistro style restaurant that is phenomenal. Great place for date night. You've got the Stillwell. You've got Kobe Q, which is a Korean barbecue place. Tannin is up here. It's a little, where is it? I think it's up, anyway. I think it's on Walnut. It's up here towards, right by the Campbell Loft somewhere. It's a wine bar that is really nice, has really good food. Lulu's Thai Noodle. I always love a good Thai place. They have a phenomenal one. Jack Stack Barbecue is down here on the southern side of the Crossroads. It's one of the best barbecue places. I mean, I kind of like my barbecue places a little more gritty, but this is kind of an upscale barbecue place with phenomenal burn-ins and brisket. Great place to grab some barbecue. Another place I really love is Rock Hill Grill. It's down here by the Western Auto Lofts, and it is a really good lunch place. If you're having kind of a business lunch, it's a premium place to grab lunch. And then, I mean, you've got so many places. I hate to just leave places off, but we're going on 30 minutes here. I want to deliver on the hook, where I told you if you stuck around to the end, I'd tell you about the number one, the best restaurant in Kansas City. And for me, that is Corvino. Corvino Supper Club. I'll just look it up here. Corvino Supper Club and Tasting Room is right here. And I'm going to pull up the website. Let me see if they've got a link to it. I'm sure they do. Yeah, the Corvino Supper Club and Tasting Room is just a phenomenal place. You will not find better food than this place. So the Supper Club is, you can go in and you order everything. Everything will come out kind of a la carte. You'll order, I don't know, you'll go in and order, if it's you and 4 people, maybe you'll order 6 items from the menu and they'll come out kind of family style. But it just I don't know if I can click on any links here or what. There we go. This is what it looks like inside and in the Supper Club side of the restaurant. And it's just the best food you can imagine. Definitely a hefty price tag, but just phenomenal menu and a great place for a date night with a lady. Probably leave the kids at home. But if you want something even more special, they have what's called the Tasting Room. And I'll click on the link for that, but so maybe you can get a view of what that looks like. The Tasting Room, it looks like it is, here's what it is. Thursday through Sunday, they start at 7, and it's a 10-course tasting menu, $150 a person, and then you can do a wine pairing for each course for an additional $85. So not terrible. I mean, $230 a piece. So like you and your lady, $500 bill plus tip is definitely on the expensive side, but you will not have a better experience anywhere. They'll bring out, it'll be a little beautifully manicured dish. They make the food right there. You see the chefs coming out, they're plating the food right just up in front of your table. And then they bring it all over with paired with a wine that pairs perfectly. It's a phenomenal experience. It probably takes 3 hours, so definitely don't want to rush the experience. But yeah, that is the best place in town for the best restaurant in town. So and right in the heart of the Crossroads. So Thank you for sticking around to the end. I have gone on long enough. If you want additional information on the Crossroads, feel free to reach out to me or Zach. If you call the number in the description, it'll ring both of our cell phones at the same time. Whoever picks up first, that's who you'll have the pleasure of speaking with. Or you can comment if you know more about the Crossroads than I do, and you want to comment below. Hey Max, you missed such and such. This is the best place. You should have said this. You should have said that. Then please do. Please. Our subscribers will read through the comments, and you'll help us inform our subscribers. So that's what it's all about. It's about just bringing you guys some information. You know, you're more than likely doing some research on Kansas City to see if it's a place for you to move, and we want to give you the information so you can make a good decision for you and your family. Feel free to use us as a resource. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.